Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Presoteric. It's been a while since we did a live stream, but here we are. So I'm Darren Taylor, the founder and owner of Presoteric. You'll most likely know me. And today with me, I have Kinzie Taylor, who is one of the leading directors here at Presoteric.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
So today, this is just a small update live stream. We're not going to be jumping too much into any content related to Presoteric. This is just updates surrounding the recent Presoteric Reboot. We've been offline for a good couple of months, since probably around November as of last year, and we've been in the process of revamping everything and getting it ready to, reboot here. We were aiming to hit this in January, but unfortunately we had a lot of different delays and whatnot. But now we are here and ready to release our new content. So the first thing, and we do have some nice little notes here, the first thing we want to talk about is the rebranding and reboot of Presoteric. So for those of you who have been with us since the beginning, you'll know more or less what Presoteric is about. And for those who are maybe just stumbling across this now, Presoteric is a different form of a magical community, if you will, or a magic-related project. While most communities focus on the mystical, metaphysical aspect of magic, we are focusing just on the science. We are bringing science to magic and magic to science in an attempt to bridge the gap between them, but also to normalize magic. And that's something that we're going to talk about in more detail in a different video, and why the normalization of magic we think is so important. So, notes. So that's our kind of the main gist of what Presoteric is. But if you want more information, there's a ton of stuff on the page, the homepage, which is our Facebook. We don't have a website, and this is, from my own experience in marketing, people aren't using websites anymore. People are using Facebook. When you're looking for a service in your home, you're not on Google anymore. You're on Facebook looking for a service. So the Facebook page is our website, and it leads to everything else that we have. So in this reboot, we are focusing on all aspects of Presoteric. We have our mission goals, and we have our, all the focus points of what this project is for already written. They have been written more or less since day one of Presoteric launching. That has not changed. What has changed is the way that we are conducting Presoteric as a company. And one of those things is getting more people involved, namely you as a community. So before I was in Presoteric, I was running my own business under the name Asbian Travol, which some of you will undoubtedly know me by. However, after some own issues in that area, I decided to open up Presoteric with John Cody, who's another one of our directors. That formed the foundation for what Presoteric is, and along the goals and stuff that came from that. And in this rebranding, I decided that I didn't want this to be a one-man show, which is ironic because I'm the one doing all the talking right now. And I seem to be, doing a lot of the video content that is around here. But I wanted to get a team on board that are working toward a similar goal. And that is where Kinzie comes in, and John comes in, and Sawyer comes in. And we're looking to get not just the staff involved, but also you, the audience, followers, the community that is going to be Presoteric. So what we want to do, and one of our main goals for Presoteric, is to conduct real scientific experiments on magical practices, methods, and theories. There's not enough magicians that are measuring their rituals, their magical practices. It's all going off feeling, faith, belief, and
intuition,
and personal interpretation. What we want to do is to take it into a place where we can scientifically dissect the data and see what is what. When you bring science into any subject, and very specifically religion, not so much philosophy, but religion, spirituality, occultism, the more that science discovers and the more that science gives us an understanding, the less need we have for this thing called belief and faith. Belief is only required when you do not have evidence. And our goal is to give evidence that not only does magic work and that it exists, regardless of what you think of the term magic, but to show that it's also beneficial and that what all these practicing magicians are doing does have some advantageous purpose. That is our stance, if you will, on all of that. Do you have any thoughts to add in?
You pretty much have it all in a nutshell there. Bit of winding ramble, but that's okay.
It always is.
It always is. For me, the big goal for Presoteric is to not just be a single person producing just content about their own magic, but to get a real baseline for the magical community. I think that's really important. And in order to do that, we need not just our team to be doing a lot of work, but we also need the input and really just the conversation with the community.
Yeah.
So that's what my job is.
One of the biggest issues that I've found with most communities and groups within the occult is that it tends to be too many superiority complexes. You have these covens with, people who are up for a power trip, and as such, you have people who are on one level and the rest who are below them. And we don't want that. We want everyone to be on the same page and everyone to be working towards the same goal, because we believe that all of you have useful things to teach us and vice versa. And it's only by working together can we make these goals happen. Can we take magic to the next level? Whatever you believe that may be, may differ from us. However, this is the direction we're going. Just for in the comments there for Dawn, thanks for your comment there. That's because I am Scottish. We're actually here in Scotland right now. For those who didn't know, our goal is to take Presoteric into something much bigger than just another group of occultists. We want this to create a new system of magic where people can come in, whether they've been here for 10 years or whether they've been here for 10 minutes, and look at a system and say, well, this is based on evidence. This is based on things that I can see in front of me with the data collected that it works. We can provide something that requires them to not have to believe what people are telling them, but actually see the data in front of them. And I think that this is how magic progresses. Every single community has a different way of doing things, but also a different explanation for how phenomena happens, for how experiences happen. And no one can tell who's right or wrong because no one's attempted to try and bring some evidence. And I say evidence, I mean strong evidence, not personal experiences or first-hand witnesses.
We're talking proof and facts.
Yes, things that we can look in front of us and say, A plus B equals C. This is our main goal here for Presoteric. So, with that all in mind, and again, I don't want to go into too much detail with what Presoteric is about. We have done a video on this that you can find in our videos tab. But let's get back to the reboot. Presoteric has gone through its reboot, and we've set up different platforms. We've set up different structures for how all of our content is going to be distributed. We have our YouTube, which is going to now be updated regularly. You're going to expect videos maybe twice a week, potentially even more, assuming we have a studio that we can keep maintained without noisy neighbors. If we can, we're going to hope to get something out every day that's going to be different. So one day you might get a live stream like this, where I sit and I ramble to you for 20 minutes. Or you might get some form of lesson or lecture that will appear up on our YouTube channel, where we give you our content and our system, if you will, in the form of small bites of information. We may do podcasts if we can get enough guests, and we'll get into our policies on that later on in the live stream here. But we're looking to find a way to distribute different content, but in the same forms regularly. So that way you're getting variety, but you're also getting something consistent. And we want to maintain a level of consistency that, one, we haven't had before, and the other groups tend not to offer as much.
And I think the other thing that we're really aiming towards is having things be readily available. So you're not having to go to YouTube, find the right video, and then scroll through, everything, and then find a link that takes you somewhere else. And then if that one doesn't work, then you have to go to a different link. We're primarily trying to keep everything very localized. Does that be a good word? It's like clustered all in one spot, easy to find, easy to get, and you have everything pretty much at your fingertips. Is pretty much the goal.
We have our Facebook community group, which we have just opened, which is run by our leading administrator here. And that group is going to is going to serve as our place to communicate with you on a much deeper level. So the home page, which is the page that this will be airing on, is more or less our website. Now, while there is comment sections and whatnot, it is a lot more difficult to have full conversations where everyone's engaged on a page that not everyone's going to be able to see. If you're in this group, you will be able to see them much more easily and be able to interact and engage more easily. That group is going to serve as our place to ask you feedback, as well as vice versa. We can ask you questions, we can ask your thoughts, and really engage with you and get to know you as an audience, as well as you get to know us on maybe a slightly more personal level, maybe, depending on how this group develops.
And also for you guys to talk with each other. Again, with my big goal is community-minded. So with having our Presoteric community group, the goal isn't just for us to be able to talk to you, but it's also for you to talk to other people in the group who are like-minded and can really have a lot to offer to share and, communicate. And
it's easy for us as a company, and for me, writing tends to be very, very easy for me. I can write for days based on just what's in my head. But one of the issues is that my writing isn't where it stops, that's where it begins. And the same for anyone else who writes or produces with Presoteric. The content that we produce isn't meant to be, I suppose, the benchmark. That's supposed to be the first domino. And so when we take that content and we bring it into the group to allow you to question it, to dissect it, to spitball different ideas or give different perspectives, or maybe even expand on our work, we're not a company that's going to stand here and tell you that we know everything. In fact, quite the opposite. We want you to help us evolve the ideas that we're working on. I want you to take the system that myself and John have developed over the past 2 years and make that into something better. We've created nothing but just a core, but we want that to expand into something much bigger. And that's why not only do we have a team, we want to build a community around this idea and this common goal. Aside from the Facebook group, we've also just opened up a Patreon. And this is for people who want to follow Presoteric on a much more, what's the word I'm looking for?
it'll be definitely a closer level.
Yeah, on a much more closer basis. And currently right now it's still in development. We haven't really got much content up there. We're still working on getting everything set up. But mainly you're going to get early access material. So you're going to see videos before they come out. You're going to see blogs before they come out. You also get to see some exclusive content. Now, when I say exclusive, I want to be very specific here. It's not exclusive in the extent that people on the page aren't going to receive content. We don't want to cut away important pieces of information so that they're not accessible for certain people. What we will do, however, is show more behind-the-scenes things, or uncut versions of our videos, or blogs, or things that we've yet to edit before releasing. That allows us to give something and with a level of exclusivity that doesn't cut away important details. And I see that a lot of people who use Patreon are people who use paywalls to essentially put away important information. We want to keep everything that's important to the progression of the system available to everyone for no cost. That's where we stand.
Yeah, this isn't a pay-to-play kind of business. There's not going to be a paywall that divides you from everything else that we have to offer. It's just kind of I don't know. It's kind of like almost buying shares in the company, I'd say.
Yeah,
You're not reducing anything to anybody else, though.
Now, bear in mind, we do have products. We do have courses. We have books. We have consultation services, etc. These things you could consider extras. They're not required for you to follow the system. Most of our information is easily accessible. But there is aspects of those products which will give you increasing benefits. The courses do have a paywall. Now, we tried to keep them reasonable, but we also have to continue funding Presoteric. We have equipment that we need to buy. We have experiments that require people to be paid. And as such, we have to be able to make some form of profit to continue the development of Presoteric. We would love to give you all of this for free. We would love to just post this and make this an institute for scientific magic, but we cannot do that without the necessary evil, which is cash in the pocket. And so...
yeah, we don't have a, anonymous donor backing us, filling up an account for us. We don't have that. Our team is pretty small, and any product that we put out, be it courses, books, services, it takes time and it's a lot of work, and people should put a, not to say that people should put a price tag on their work, but they should be valued for their work and their effort, because they do take the time and they do put in a lot of work, and it does add up, really. So,
and we tried to keep those products reasonably priced. We have books up there, and we also have things for people who want to invest more, but they don't. It's not necessary. So with our books, we have paperback versions which are reasonably priced, and then we have limited edition hardbacks which are hand signed by the authors and stuff like that. What you're paying extra for is, and not
it's really just what you want.
Not to put a dampener on our own products here, but it is paying for novelty. You're paying for something extra, but it doesn't really provide you anything intrinsic. The courses do take quite a lot of time to make and to edit, and as such, we put some of those labor costs in there for those who are making them. And that just allows we can continue doing this because we can't put full-time, our full-time into this if we're not able to put food on the table, etc.
I'll just put it this way. We value our creators enough to pay them. We don't expect anything for free from the people that we work with. So being able to pay them and to show them that they do have value, that they should continue working on the things that they are focused on and developing, really helps just push everything forward.
So with our patron, you can sign up right away. The only thing we have up there right now is one tier, which isn't fully released yet. So right now there's not really anything on the Patreon, but we are going to be releasing stuff up there in the next week. By 2 weeks, that will be up and running and ready for release. So if you want to sign up now, you can. The links were posted on the page, but I will post them in the description here afterwards. And if you want to follow us like that, then you can. But as I say, it's not required. This is just extra material for those who want to follow us more closely. One of the things that we're going to be doing more regularly is our weekly polls. So today we just released a poll on, what did we release it on? I forgot the question. I can't remember either. We released a poll asking you guys a question. It was a yes or no question, and it was a normalization of magic. Should magic be normalized? There's so much that we do in a day, it's hard to keep it all in our heads. And all that information is to gather data. So with these polls, we can't use them in any official paper, and we can't really draw any solid conclusions from them, but the polls are there for us to make general assumptions and general speculation towards what people are thinking in the general community. Now, these polls get shared to several different types of communities. You have chaos magicians, you have ceremonial magicians, you have pagans. They go to so many different places within the general community that is occultism and spirituality. And our aim is to figure out just a general idea of what do people lean towards. And we have 3 of those polls that are done already. The first one, we had 1,000 people, just over, cast their votes in, and the other 2 was a lot less, mainly because we did it just before things shut down for the reboot. And we're going to be doing those polls every week. And that's a chance for you to get involved with what we're doing. We collect the data. We then do a live stream which talks about that poll and what people were saying. We take some of the comments, we look at what people are saying, what they're thinking, and that allows us to not only draft our own blogs out of it, talking about certain topics that people may bring up, but it allows us to interact with you and to get you involved in providing us with data to make those general statements from. Now, again, it's not going to be anything substantial because it's not an official survey. But again, it only gives us general ideas of what the community is thinking. And in order to really change this community and evolve it, we have to know what people are thinking and how they think. We cannot do that without that data. So this is more of just a first step with the materials we have at hand. Maybe as Presoteric grows, we might do some official surveys that will give us more intrinsic data to actually use.
And think about it this way, with the weekly polls, the data that we're collecting and the information that we're getting out of it, the more variety of people, like the first week that there was a poll, we had over 1,000 answers and a lot, just stacks of comments. That was amazing. But the more answers we have, the bigger pool we have to pull from and get more data from. So smaller pools kind of, they're limiting. So really the weekly polls, we're trying to boost those up and get as many responses as we can, because we get a variety of people from multiple backgrounds, multiple areas, and it really helps.
Yep. And you also have to remember with these polls, take them with a grain of salt also, because we're not evenly distributing them between, we can't say that there's 100 chaos magicians and 100 ceremony magicians. It could be 500 chaos magicians and a couple of hundred of ceremonial magicians. We cannot guarantee that these are going to be accurate. What we can say is that it's just a general idea. So the first thing I wanted to update you guys on in terms of products is Magic It's All in Your Head 2. Now I say Magic It's All in Your Head 2, it's not being called Magic It's All in Your Head 2. It's just being called Magic It's All in Your Head. Mainly because it's not a second version, it's not a second volume. It's taken the first one, redoing it, and adding what we promised was 3 times the content that we put in the first one. We were looking to release that in February, but since we have so much information, I mean, it's a lot of information. You're looking at a 500-page book here. We're having to push that back a couple more months to get it all ready, printed, and then sent out. So for those who have pre-ordered it, not too long to go. And we are going to be sending out some extra stuff with it for the people who have pre-ordered. And for those of you who haven't, you can find that on our Gumroad. Now, Magic Is All in Your Head 2, and again, use that term loosely, is one of our introductory texts, but it's not the only text. Our main one, which is going to essentially contain our policies and ideas and philosophy at Presoteric, is the Presoteric Manifesto, which we're still working on putting all the information together. And it's taken a lot longer because we've been focusing on Magic Is All in Your Head and the reboot. So that will be coming soon. We don't have a date. We can only say that it might be in the next couple of months or so. Courses. We have some courses up on the Gumroad right now. We have one audio course, which we put up there, Principles of Magic, talking about essentially the basics of magic. We are going to be redoing that course. We're going to be re-recording it, but it's still going to be put in the same place. So you don't have to buy it again. Everyone who's already bought it will get a free copy of that. So you don't have to worry about that. All we're doing is essentially upping the quality as we have better mics now to record with and better software. We are going to be releasing some new courses. And the first one that we're going to be releasing, which I'm still working on putting together, is called Mind Virus. Now, I actually got this idea not long ago, watching one of my favorite speakers, Dawkins. And there was one of his talks where he mentioned Mind Virus. And it just gave me this idea to create a course because it fits so perfectly with what we're doing here at Presoteric. And that course is going to focus around debunking a lot of, and I hate to say it, BS around varying occult and spiritual communities. We're going to look at the phenomena that is, there's nothing to it. There's no merit to it. So we're going to be looking at things like Ouija. And I'm probably going to stir the pot here by saying that, but we're going to be looking at a lot of the things that are simply wrong in the occult. And we're going to back that up by science, as we do everything here at Presoteric. Not only are we going to back it up by science, we are going to talk about maybe potential benefits that they have, while also clearing up what's wrong with them and the dangers that they possess. One of the biggest topics we're going to be covering that is tarot. Now, I know that a lot of people who follow the occult love tarot. Myself included, I do love tarot. But there are ways that tarot are used which can be damaging. And I've talked about this on Presoteric before, that a tarot deck can cause more damage than any curse and any old grimoire that you can find online. Because of subconscious association, because people are coming to tarot readers and psychics specifically with issues that their therapist should be dealing with. And we'll get into the whole going to trained professionals at a later date, but all we can say is it's going to be a somewhat controversial course, but it's going to be one that's backed up with science. You don't require belief to come into this course. It will give you fact and it will give you perspective. And that is the aim of that, is to take away what I've been referring to for the past 3 years as the pollution of these various communities, the things that are causing people to ruin their lives and cause more chaos in their life rather than paradise.
And if anybody knows me or has followed my career in the occult, you'll know that I am a tarot reader. And I totally endorse this, and not just because it's Darren, even though. But honestly, a lot of the issues that he brings up and a lot of issues that we're going to talk about, I've dealt with firsthand as a reader with clients who really shouldn't be in my studio. asking me certain questions or basing their life decisions on a deck of cards. So you have that to look forward to. And it is important, and it is something that is probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but I think as a community, it's important to think about mental health, especially these days.
And that's something that we emphasize always with, not just with Presoteric, but with any occult community, is you have to take into consideration the psychological effects that these things have on you. And I'm not talking about spirits attaching to you. Our surroundings have a great effect on us and our minds. We don't I say we. Most people don't realize how much their environment actually affects themselves. And because of that, being in a community that is of people that, and I hate to say it, are very impressionable. It is very easy to destroy someone's life by putting certain ideas in their head. I've seen it. The amount of people who will stop taking medication and replace that with healing crystals. And then they wonder why they're in hospital with a ton of medical bills. People who stop going to their therapist and start listening to the voices in their heads, and then end up, shooting up a school. There are aspects of this community which are dangerous. When magicians say that magic can be dangerous, it's not the magic that's dangerous.
It's the consequences of that magic.
It's the suggestion that a lot of occultists end up putting you through. And if you're not aware of those things, and as Presoteric Xavier says, if you don't guard the gates of your own mind, someone else will do that for you. And I say not guard the gates of your mind, but they'll put things in it. They will walk through those gates. So what else have we got on that notes list? Endorsements. Okay, so we have some strict policies that we're going to be introducing to Presoteric, and that goes over who we decide to work with, who we decide to collaborate with, and who we decide to take on to the team at Presoteric. Because we are so focused on the scientific aspect, and we take very seriously the psychological implications that a lot of this stuff has, we will not align ourselves with anyone that does not support that and does not align with that. And I'm not just talking about, well, yeah, we support this. No, we're talking about who people's actions do not correlate with those same goals. So if there is, say, somebody, let's say a tarot reader, who wanted to join Presoteric, who wanted to write for Presoteric, who wanted to align with Presoteric, but they were practicing in ways that maybe we've already debunked, or we've already, whatever.
That we've deemed not safe.
Yeah, or we have deemed as, debunked. We would not align ourselves with them because of that reason, because we want to keep this system authentic, and we want to prevent more viruses. We are trying to keep this system clean, and because of that, we have to be very careful with, one, who we associate with, and two, who we bring on, because a lot of the material we have here has the same potential to cause damage as any other occult community, which is why we have to remove our own personal feelings from the work. Now, all the work that we produce is not based in our own beliefs. Now, while we may be upfront about what we think and what we feel and what we speculate, what we say is and is not based in belief. It's based in what we can prove with data in front of us, what we can logically execute. If it does not follow that, then it's nothing but personal belief. And that's more or less it. But we do have specifically two people, who we collaborate with, I say as a company. It's been more so with me directly, but have worked, and I say loose association or affiliation, and that is Presoteric Xavier and Uncle Birch. Now, or Sacred Grove. Now, Presoteric Xavier, I've been on his channel a few times now, and it's been very, very well received. He's a very good friend of mine, and we both support each other's work. Presoteric Xavier, in many ways, was one of the first dominoes in Presoteric even existing, because it's through watching his material and listening to him and his teachings that Presoteric was possible. It's because of him talking about the science and psychological aspects of magic that brought me to lead here. And Uncle Birch, who has also been on Presoteric Xavier's channel, I suppose you could call it like a little triangle. We all support each other's work. Uncle Birch has some great material, and again, the psychological aspects are emphasized. And because of those things, these are people who we want to align with, who we support and we endorse, and we look forward to working with them, again, loosely. This is not any official, it's not a partnership, it's just a loose affiliation. I support them, and they seem to support us, and that's kind of the way we're going to keep it. We want to keep that as a very loose
and that's not to say
affiliation.
that we won't be taking on other affiliations and endorsing other magicians or occultists, but it's finding the right people who have the right mindset that can understand the science that we're doing and the work that we're trying to do, because really it's about being unbiased and really asking a lot of questions and finding the proof in the pudding.
And we have had many requests, actually quite recently, for people who want to collaborate us, people who want us to, write on their blogs, and they will put one on ours. And if you want to get involved with us, you can message us and, pitch your idea. But we're going to be very picky with who we choose to do that with. For people who want to come and work with Presoteric as part of the team, there are going to be certain criteria that we need. Everybody that we have on the staff right now follows the same idea. The science follows the same system. And, you could accuse us of all being the same in this sense, but we all have different views around the science of it. We both look at different aspects. We both speculate on different things. We all have different theories, but we're all working towards the same goal to bring some proof to those things. And it's been a very successful collaboration so far, and we're excited to see how you guys work with it. Do we have anything else on that notes list?
No, that was it.
That's it. Okay, so we're going to keep the rest of this short. We were here 30 minutes now. I usually try to go for like 25 minutes on these things, but that doesn't always pan out. But, we're just going to let these run for as long as they take. Now, if you guys have any questions, you are more than welcome to throw them in when we're doing these lives, or put them in the comments and I'll address them at a later date, or throw a comment.
I'm going to do like a 5-minute Q&A just to wrap it up and make sure if anybody has questions, they can ask them right now.
Well, I would do that, but then if nobody asks anything, then we're just sitting here waiting. So if you have any questions, throw them in now while we're rambling off, and we'll answer them. But for the Presoteric Reboot, it is in effect now. We have integrated a lot of the stuff already, and some of the stuff that we've integrated needs further development, which we'll be doing over the coming weeks. But you can expect daily updates and daily posts. We're posting roughly at least every 3 hours for maybe a 13 to 14 hour period, which is the time that most of us are awake. There is going to be days where we post more content than others. More specifically, during the week, weekends, you're more likely to get more video related content, but we are planning to give you variety. We have blog articles that are going to be releasing on certain days. We have videos on others. We have live streams, and we are looking to create a Presoteric podcast that we can take on guests, but we're not going to be doing this the same as how I did it on my previous channels. These podcasts are going to be pre-recorded, and they're not going to be live, mainly because getting the quality that we want for these podcasts is going to require us to pre-record them. And that's just due to the equipment that we currently have. Also, because of the equipment that the person may have. Because of the size of our studio, we cannot unfortunately get guests into here to record. And as such, we have
Scotland, so
yeah, and we have to do that over programs like Skype or Zoom. And so that requires us to quality control who we allow on here, because we pride ourselves on giving you quality content with decent sound equipment, different cameras, lighting, etc. And we want to make sure that our guests that come on don't have mics which are going to hurt your ears to listen to, because trust me, I know how irritating that is. But also we're planning to get guests on who might be less conventional than what you're used to on other occult podcasts. We're not planning to sit here and interview just magicians. I would love to have, say, Frederick Xavier or Uncle Birch on for a podcast, and we surely probably will do that. Frederick Xavier, that's going to take some convincing. I know Birch has been trying to get him on for some time. But we're looking to get people on who are out there in normal life. Take normal people on for a podcast. And I say normal, I use the term loosely, to try and get a sense of something outside of what you're used to. We might get a clinical psychologist to come on and talk about, these topics and see what they think of what we're doing. I'm going to try and get some people who are maybe more well-known to come on the channel. We have goals for guests. I would love to get someone like Darren Brown on, or Richard Dawkins, for example. That would be great, but I know that the likelihood of that is low, but we're working towards something bigger. And that's really it. Our vision board at Presoteric is very, very large. Our goals are high and our targets are high. And we cannot do that without you. So your support is absolutely invaluable to us. Jaden Brink, is it going to be on this channel? Yes. This page is our homepage. You can find everything on here, including the links to our other platforms. Our Facebook homepage is where you can find everything. Our notes section contains our blogs. Our videos contain all videos. In fact, if you look at our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/c/presoteric, you can, and look at the videos tab on our Facebook, you'll see that we've even aligned them to look identical. The playlists are in the same order, the videos are in the same order, and they will always be updated at the same time. So as we upload this, it will be going straight to YouTube, and so you can view it there if you like. We're always going to make sure that everything is easy to navigate, because I've seen websites that have everything everywhere. We want to make it easy for you to find. So whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on our Patreon, whether you're on Facebook, everything will be right there, easy for you to find. Just look for the tabs, hit it, and then everything will be there, neatly laid out. Anything you want to add?
I don't know. You cover everything. There's really not much for me to say.
I try. A lot of experience doing this, although I do feel a little bit rusty. Well, guys, we're going to leave it here before this turns into a huge ramble, which it to some degree already has. But thank you for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, throw them in the comment section, and I will respond to them in a comment once I see them. And yeah, this project is much more than just another occult group. This is a revolution. We're trying to take magic to the next level, and we need to do that with you, not for you. We're a team, we're a group, we're a community, and we have to start acting like it. There's so many communities that are all bickering amongst themselves, and we're inevitably going to get that too. But we have to work together and come together, and that is our goal. So let's ignite the fires of revolution, and let's make magic so much more than it already is. Thank you for joining us. We are Presoteric. That sounds quite empowering saying that, actually. We are Presoteric.
No, we should say all of us.
We should get that. We should get that on a t-shirt. Thank you for joining us. We will see you in the next video. And until then, have a good day.